Good day and mabuhay. I am Norval Calusay and I am a junior high school teacher from the bedrock of Sultan Kudarat's finest Isulan National High School in Region 12, Southern Mindanao. The COVID-19 global health crisis has affected the mental and psychological health and well-being of people around the world. COVID-19 is a new viral infection that was declared as a public health emergency for international concern in January 2020. The Philippines has been severely affected by the COVID-19 public health disaster. Apart from the employment sector that was significantly affected by the pandemic, also resulted in unprecedented challenges in education. Countries around the world scrambled to prepare for the health, economic, and educational challenges of containing the highly transmissible virus. Education plays an important role in shaping the lives of students. We are one of the essential instruments in delivering quality learning. Due to the emergence of COVID-19 in our country, a lot of changes happened in the educational landscape. Students, parents, and teachers have been preparing for the opening of the new school year. The shift has also challenged us, Filipino teachers, who have to navigate online-based learning environment and also produce and distribute printed modules for the whole school year. In spite of such challenges, we teachers have remained resilient and motivated to practice our profession for the sake of our students' future. Our country is not ready for digital education at the time when COVID-19 arrived. That most of us are worried and confused, from authorities, parents, teachers, and students. I do not meet my students face to face. Parents instead drop by the school to get the modules of their children. Modular instruction is more operative in the teaching-learning method as equated to usual teaching approaches because in this modular approach, the students learn in their own stride. The threat of infection is real, but sacrifices should be made particularly in this time of pandemic for the love of teaching. We fear the pandemic, but our obligation as teachers to our students does not hinder us to teach us. It is the one thing that we love to do. Teaching from my home, if my schedule does not permit to go to school, I help in the online classes of my 3 school children, a 12-year-old grade 7 student, another 6-year-old grade 1 learner, and a 3-year-old preschool pupil. My children miss their classmates but keep them busy instead of their online and modular learning under my watchful eyes. I let them play online games sometimes, but with limitation. Unlike in town, the internet signal at my school remains unstable. That is why most of my students choose the module learning system, and also some parents cannot buy laptops for their children. We are transitioning through an uncertain period in terms of our professional and personal lives. Apart from the obvious risk to physical health, the psychological impact of COVID-19 also carries significant threats and dangers to mental health and well-being as higher levels of anxiety and stress are further impaired by the ongoing uncertainty of the situation. Moreover, aside from the conceivable stresses we face regarding the threat of COVID-19 to ourselves, Our families, we are forced to transition into the new normal in the educational landscape and undertake effectively remedial education. We may not necessarily have the technologies, resources, and competences that we need to engage and succeed in this new learning modality. Teaching is my career. It is really unexpected that it feels timely in the midst of this pandemic. Reason for being a teacher was not just about to impart knowledge and skills, but also to guide the young ones and lead them to their future. There are some parents who cannot go to school because of the distance. Some of them don't have money for fare going to school. Some of them taking care of their children. That's why we need to deliver the modules to our students, but with proper health protocol. Seeing my students try their best to cope with distance learning gives me more reason to work harder as their teacher. In my online class setup, the most experienced problem in online distance learning is the internet connectivity. This challenge is not uncommon to teachers as we utilize the internet daily. In my case, every time I conduct 1 to 2 hours classes, I decided to conduct them at my house. Internet connection is a problem for both teachers and students. Regarding deadlines, some students use internet connection as a reason to submit late. I really cannot forget whenever my students feel at home. I cannot blame them because they're really in their own homes. Some are lying down while I have classes. I can feel the insult sometimes in another way. I will just remind them instead of insulting them. And I will just understand the situation because we are in a pandemic. Student participation is affected. When I raise questions, no one answers. I feel like I am talking to no one. I cannot tell whether the students learn or not. It is more challenging to encourage the students to answer in online classes compared to face-to-face classes. You cannot force the students to answer if they do not like to answer. The students are also refusing to show their faces during the class of several reasons. It's difficult to monitor their attendance and responses because we are asked to mute their microphone every time. We are concerned with the children. So, I call the parents to give feedback and we continue to teach good values to the children despite what is happening to at least correct the wrongdoings. I always advise my advisory class and other sections that I am handling, if ever they will have problems with connectivity, they have to inform me through text messenger or inform of their classmates. As an advisor or teacher, I still manage to ask them the reason behind it to keep track of my students' backgrounds. I can suggest that during this pandemic, it is important to have communication for both work and personal life. I will never forget the pressure in preparation for an online class or before the classes began. The pressure was intense and the training and how to reach out to parents. We cannot project what we will do. That is the other experience that I will never forget. We will only solve the problem once we face it. Unlike before, we can just go to the class bringing only laptop, projector, and a class record. In this online setup, we have to prepare the visual like Google Slides presentations. In printed modular approach, some parents cannot go to school. The reasons are they don't have fare. Some are taking care of their babies so that What I did, I visit the student and bring her module. During the submission of answer sheets, there are some parents cannot submit because the activity was not answered because some parents do not know how to read and write. I told them, you can ask the help of your neighbors who can understand the lesson. I appreciate all those very supportive parents regarding their child's learning, and somehow they help make our work easier. As a teacher, I am proud to say that our new school's administration has really found means and ways to help, especially during training and workshops. It is hard to admit that I still like teaching during this time because it's a struggle. I wanted to teach because I wanted to impart my knowledge. I want to inspire, but how can I inspire my students if I am not inspired anymore? It's hard to ignore when I read their Facebook post or Twitter how difficult online and modular class is. How difficult it is for them to adjust and how online and modular class ruins their health. How they got back pain at an early age since online class started because of purely sitting almost an hour. This experience has been an eye-opener. My passion for teaching has been tested. These are hard times we are facing. Indeed, teaching is a vocation and a mission. These are the characteristics of teaching that no other careers possesses. It is like facing the realities and challenges of teaching every day, but still choosing the profession when one wakes up the next day. The fulfillment only comes after many years when at least one student will come back and say gratifying words to the teacher for being part of their success and who they are as a person. The significance of teaching this pandemic is that despite the difficult shift, I was able to overcome some of them and still stand here today to teach my students. Even if there are many issues with this setup, I can see that there are teachers and students are trying their best. So, it is a continuous process that my significance as a teacher as of the moment is that I need to learn more so that by the time my students will ask me, Mom, why did you choose to teach? Why did you become a teacher? I will not say that, oh, I was calm because I thought I would just sit down and you guys will line up. The sense of loving struggles is inspiring because it exists the convenient choice of living to find better opportunities than teaching considering the situation today. Amidst the certainties, it is ever wise to ask God's guidance in whatever one does. Choosing to teach is the greatest love of all. When one knows the profession's frailties, in a broader view, one would say the disadvantages and negatives of having thought as a profession. Those who continue and try their best to keep the fire burning are those teachers who light the candles of students despite the challenges to become light of the world to see.